You want to get stronger in body weight. You want to master your body and gain muscle and get as strong as possible. But figuring out a workout plan might be a little bit difficult. What if I could dumb it down as much as possible? Make it as simple as possible for you to get a body weight workout plan. Rather, you're not really too sure where to begin, or you just want to add more to your workout routine. Let me show you how to get the simplest body weight workout plan possible and giving you a starting point in order to master your body. Now, I've been coaching gymnastics, parkour, and Ninja Warrior, where the majority of our workout plans is through body weight mastery. The first thing we'd want to do is figure out what exercises we actually want to start. Well, there are about 7 core movement patterns that we're trying to hit. However, we're not going to start with all 7. We want to see what exercises hit the most muscles as possible. In traditional exercise, that would be called compound movements. For example, in weightlifting, a bench press not only hits your chest, but it hits your shoulders and it hits your triceps. We want to find the body weight version of those. So we're going to start with 3 exercises that hit the majority of the movement patterns. No, this does not hit all the movement patterns. No, this is not a one size fits all. And no, you're not going to get every single muscle group possible. We're just trying to find a solid foundation, a building block in order for you to increase later in the future, such as adding more exercises, more times, more reps, more sets, or splitting them up differently. Let's just start from the beginning. 1 would be the pull-up. It is such a fundamental skill and a fundamental move. We just did a breakdown on how to achieve your first pull-up, and we're also going to summarize it a little bit here. To hit the pushing motion is, well, the push-up. Obviously, the lower body, we're going with the deep body weight squat. Now, obviously, we're saying deep body weight because we're getting the full range of motion and we're hitting further than possible. Now, yes, we're missing a couple of gaps in our things, but this should give you the solid puzzle pieces. Once you understand what puzzle we're trying to make, we'll give you the more pieces and you're able to play it around in order to fulfill that puzzle. Now, with all 3 exercises, the difficult part is finding progressions for each one of them. What I mean is, if you can't do a pull-up, then me saying do a pull-up, how does that help you at all? Where do you start? Where do you get? In traditional weightlifting, you either add or lower the amount of weight in the same exercise. You could do bench press for years and years. The difference is the number. We need to have a list of progressions. To make this as easy as possible, if you click the link and you join the community, and those who are in the community already, within the free app that's provided, as well as within the free training, we already have the progressions broken down. We already went over with the pull-ups in the last training, but very quickly, the lowest version would be a vertical pull-up. So something you're using a door frame, TRX, or rings until you get more horizontal with the TRX or rings. Then it's the horizontal pull-up, a jackknife pull-up in which you're in an L shape with your legs like this and your arms like this. Then you're going to negative pull-ups, and then you're doing the full pull-ups. Yes, there are more progressions after that. If you look at the app, they'll also give the options. For the push-ups, it is very similar. You start with wall push-ups, and then you are trying to find things that are lower and lower, such as a coffee table or something that's knee-high, until you are very close to the floor. Once you are something that's lower than knee-high, you can do knee push-ups. We start on your knees without bending in your hips. Then you're doing full negatives with knee push-ups going up. So the negative push-up down, knee push-up to go up, and then eventually you're doing the full push-ups. For the bodyweight squats, the end goal for this one is pistol squats, a one-legged squat. And it's very impressive, it's very cool. We can do a full training on that eventually. Your first goal is to use assisted deep squat. Then it's unassisted deep squat. And then you're doing a Cossack squat, which is, we call it Spider-Man who dances, in which you're focusing really on one side of the legs. That's when you're getting into the pistol squat, where you're doing negatives at height, then negatives as well as going up with height, and then you're on a plate, and then at one point you're doing the full pistol squats. Now we have the 3 exercises, now we have the progressions. What do we do with them? The first thing is we're aiming for 12. 12 is just this weird magical number that we try to use just because it hits muscle growth, a little bit of strength, and a little bit of endurance all mixed up. And most of the things we're trying to learn in Awesome Ninja Fitness are skills. And skills, you need more time with that movement. So 12 kind of hits that, as well as strength and everything I just mentioned. You find the highest progression you can do, and you're trying to do 12 repetitions of whatever that is. Once you are unable to do that version anymore, you go down by 1 until you hit 12. So for example, if you're doing the full push-up and you only get to 6, then you go down to the negative push-ups with the knee push-ups up until you can't do that anymore. And then you do the knee push-ups and so on until you are able to reach 12. After you have that, you are resting for 2 to 3 minutes ideally. You can rest a little bit more until you are able to do the proper quality. You want to do 3 to 5 sets of that exercise. The difference between 3 and 5 is just if you can keep the same quality would be one check mark. Second check mark is the difference between the maxed version of the exercise that you could do is so far off. So for example, you started with 5 push-ups and now you can't even do 1. Maybe it was a little bit too intense, or you're not ready for the next sets, or it's just painful in order to move on. Maybe you just need to start a little bit slower. Maybe it's 2 sets, but ideally you're moving up. If doing 12 of a specific progression is still too easy, then you need the harder progression. Now, if we want to hit everything, but we also want to add a little bit of cardio in there. So what we do is a superset version. This also saves so much time at the same time. You do one of the exercises, and while that muscle is resting, you do the next exercise. So you would go push up to squat, and then you repeat that entire cycle or that circuit 3 to 5 times. Now, if cardio is one of your weaknesses, then there's a good chance they might need to rest a little bit more. This is where it changes a little bit in the individual. Best case scenario, you do one of the exercises, then you go to the next one. If you're really out of breath, there are 2 options you can change it up just a little bit. Option 1 is just have a little bit more rest. Option 2 is maybe just do 1 exercise at a time, and that just means that it's going to take a lot longer. Now we have the progressions, we have the structure, we have the superset. Now, how often do we do this? The goal is to be able to do this every other day. Your muscles should need at least 24 hours to rest. If you can do the exact same intensity the next day, then you need more than 24 hours to rest, which means that the exercises you're doing, the progressions you are doing, it's off. You either need more sets, more reps, or less rest. There's a good chance that if cardio was an issue and your muscles are perfectly fine, and you'll do it the next day. Cardio, you can rest a day and able to do it the next day at a similar intensity. You might be favoring cardio way too much, so you can keep going until cardio catches up, but the goal is 24 hours to 48 hours of rest. So what do you do on that off day? My favorite would be doing some sort of skill-based training. I would work on handstands, I would work on crow pose, I would work on one leg balances, anything that is very technical and not very muscle based. When we get into muscle based skills, such as planches, such as levers, then you already know that those things will be on your workout days, and the skill days we're going to be working on the technical side of it. But that's going to take a little bit more time, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. The good news is to know if you're progressing. Those numbers will be changing over time. The progressions will get harder, the amount of reps will increase, and the amount of sets should increase. And then after, if you're tracking what you are doing, such as access to the free app, you're able to track your exercises and your workouts, and then you'll know if you're actually increasing or not. Then sometimes the numbers will go back down. So for example, if you're at a new progression, obviously it starts at 1 and then 2 and then 3 and so on. So that's a very fundamental, basic idea of a workout program. The first day, like I said, is strength. You got your 3 exercises based on the progressions, aiming for 12 to 3 to 5 sets, aiming for 3 to 5 minutes, can be a little bit longer than that for each exercise. You do the highest progression you can, as long as you can hit 12. Then in your rest day, you're working on very technical or movements. So you'd be working on balancing, such as handstands or crow pose, or my favorite alternative, if you're not really too sure what to work on, is the animal movements. I believe we have a full video somewhere about how to increase your athleticism the natural way, which is through animal movements, working on that mind-body connection, that mobility at the same time, getting that cardio day in there. It's a great option. I love talking about it, and if I keep talking about it, this video is going to be longer than it needs to be, and I'm trying to stick to the point. And the point is, you're going to get stronger. You're doing freaking awesome. Start with that. See what happens. We change the numbers. We change the exercise. The main thing is you find something that you keep doing and you stay consistent. Ideally, keeping it as simple as possible. 3 exercises. Do that 3 times, and then do that every other day. Seems as simple as it can be. If you want extra help and extra guidance, because maybe accountability is the issue, maybe you know what you need to do, but you need someone to just get you to do it, or you want to learn more advanced skills, such as the handstands, the planches, the levers, the flips, everything that we've been talking about, and how do we translate our strength days to get those skills, well, join the community. It's free. For everyone else here watching live who are part of the community, we are going to go into the Q&A, and you can ask me any questions on how you would change these workout plans, either based on your specific goals, a specific exercise, how would you decrease it, and we're going to dive deep into that. For everyone else, you have a basic plan, you have a way for getting it free, you have a way to talking to a coach and an expert for free in order for you to get the workout plan that you need to do for you to reach your goals to get your body weight mastery. So if you don't do it, you don't really have any excuses. Go ahead and do that. And everyone else, we're going to chat and dive deep. And of course, there's one thing you got to remember. You got to stay awesome. Let's dive deep.